In just a few minutes, you guys will be receiving your very first Holy Communion. But a few minutes before that, we'll be praying the Eucharistic prayer, where Father Bodine and I will be praying and asking the Lord to transform bread and wine into our Lord's body, blood, soul, and divinity. To turn ordinary bread and ordinary wine into Jesus himself, who we receive today. And part of that prayer is Father Bodine and I will say, "This is my body, which will be given up for you." Those words that Jesus said at the Last Supper. This is my body, which will be given up for you. When we love someone, we want to give them things, right? I bet that when you guys were even littler, you'd go out and you'd find some flowers or some dandelions and you'd give them to your parents because you want to give them things. You love them. You want to give them a gift. You give them some flowers. When you have a boyfriend and a girlfriend and they love each other very much, they might buy gifts for each other, chocolates or flowers, or once they're far enough along in their relationship, even a ring to propose marriage. You want to give gifts to each other when you love someone. But sometimes, giving things isn't quite enough. Sometimes giving just flowers just doesn't feel like quite enough to express the love that you have for someone. You want to give more. You want to give your whole self. You go in for a great big hug. Your gift is yourself as you go in. And today, Jesus has this ultimate gift for you because he loves you so much. Just as we stretch out our arms when we go in to give a hug to someone that we love very much, Jesus stretched out his arms on the cross and he said, "I give my entire self up for you." We heard in the gospel, he said, "I am the good shepherd and I will lay down my life for my sheep." He gives his entire life for us. He died on the cross to show his love for us so that we might have life. And then, it wasn't just one event that we can look back and remember and just look at the cross and say, yes, he did that once. But at each and every Mass, that same event where he gave up his life for us, he does it again. And he gives himself to us. His body, blood, soul, and divinity, his entire self, he gives to us under the appearances of bread and wine. He gives his whole self, body, blood, soul, and divinity, because that is how much he loves us. He lays down his entire self to show us that great love, because he is this good shepherd who wants to be with his sheep. And so what's our response when Jesus gives his entire self to us? What do? Well, we should give our entire selves back, right? We should offer our entire lives to God and say, "Lord, take everything that I have. Take my liberty, my memory, my understanding, everything that I have and call my own, I give it back to you." We want to give our entire self back to God, especially during those moments of prayer that we have right after we receive communion. As we're kneeling in prayer, we say, "Lord, I give my entire self back to you, just as you've given your entire self to me." That should be our response. So today, as you receive the Good Shepherd, Jesus Christ, for the very first time into your hearts in this special way, as you receive Jesus' body, blood, soul, and divinity into your hearts, and he gives his entire self to you out of his great love for you, imagine to yourselves, how can I give my entire self back to our Lord? How can I show that same love to him? So we give great thanks today for this beautiful day of your first Holy Communion, and we give a special thanks to God for this gift of self that he gives to us. And so as we prepare ourselves for these next few moments, as we prepare ourselves to receive our Lord, let's quiet our hearts and think of how we can give our entire self over to him.